Podcast. I'm your host, TW. Listen, I know you have so many choices for your entertainment, so whoever you are and wherever you may be, thank you so much for spending a few minutes of your day here with me. Ladies and gentlemen, there is so much to talk about. I actually just got back off of a phenomenal vacation. So much fun spending time. Went to the British Virgin Islands, the US Virgin Islands, St. John, St. Thomas, all of that. Lots of sun, lots of drinks, lots of time with friends and the wife especially, of course. Good times. And it was nice, man. It was a good little recharge. Way to get away right before, the official summer kicks off here in the Northeast. And we are back at it. But as far as this show goes, man, we got a ton of great stuff to talk about. We're going to talk about Caitlin Clark and how she's acclimating to the WNBA. Is she starting to hit her stride? We're going to find out. I think I just watched the greatest episode of NXT of all time. We're going to talk about that. And we are going to dig into a little more stuff. So have a good time. Strap in, get set. TBP starts right now. This WNBA rookie class is really starting to hit their stride. There was so much hype that came with these ladies coming into the league, and with great reason. They not only had great college careers, like all the players who get drafted to the WNBA do, but they also brought with them, I would say, an unusual amount of fanfare, right? Like we can say the amount of fanfare that these women brought with them is unprecedented, right? And it's not just Caitlin Clark, right? Angel Reese also brought her own group of fans with her. Not for nothing, a lot of it had to do with the big flare-up that happened in the national championship game 2 years ago between Iowa and LSU and, more specifically, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. And that spilled over into, Angel Reese kind of standing up to First Lady Jill Biden, saying that everyone should be invited for the national championship celebration to the White House, which I thought was complete trash, but a lot of people really loved Angel Reese for standing up to that, and it really gave her a big fan base. And so it has not gone unnoticed, the success that these women have had thus far in the WNBA. We even see, Chicago Sky games, great attendance, right? Obviously, Indiana Fever games. The Indiana Fever have played, I want to say, 8 games in the first 15 days of the WNBA season. That is insane. That's insane. That is a lot of games in a really quick amount of time. And I understand wanting to put Caitlin Clark out there. She's this big attraction, brought all these fans over from college, and people want to see her, right? I totally get that. But I think they're definitely running the risk of burning Caitlin Clark out. I think that this season is going to be a lot of her taking her lumps. But even so, she's still rising to the occasion, right? Like Caitlin Clark she's still rising to the occasion. I think at this point, she's averaging something like 17 points per game. She had a 30-point game the other night. And, she's playing a ton of minutes on the Indiana Fever. They don't have a ton of other great players. Aaliyah Boston is a great player. They have another great player, the starting guard. Oh gosh, her name escapes me at the moment. But she's also a great player. And but they need more. They need a lot more. She's on a team that's not great. They picked first for a reason. The way this season is going, they may pick first again. But speaking of which, not to jump too far ahead, but if for some reason the Indiana Fever end up with the number 1 pick again, can you imagine if they draft Paige Beckers? Oh my God. We would be looking at this team talking about a starting lineup that includes Aaliyah Boston, Caitlin Clark, and Paige Beckers. Listen, I think the Indiana Fever would be set up to make a real run at a championship if this time next year we were talking about Caitlin Clark in year 2, Aaliyah Boston in year 3, and Paige Beckers in year 1. Oh my God! Woo! Oh, That would be something. But we're not gonna forecast too far into the future. Maybe the Fever will turn it around. I said before the season started, I expected the Fever to be there at the end and be competing for a playoff spot. And damn it, I was wrong. I was wrong. I mean, listen, it's not to say they won't find a stride somewhere in the season, but I think the great thing that everyone should be noticing right now, right? If you are new here, if you have not been watching the WNBA, if you came here, if you were lured by the Caitlyn sanity and the Angel Reese attraction, if you came here because of them, welcome. But what you're seeing now is, damn it, this league is good. This league is good. There are great players here. Some of them who has been here for almost 20 years. Okay, Diana Taurasi is still in the league and still cooking. Okay, like this is a great league. And so you're not gonna have, it's good. It's such a rare occasion that you have a rookie come in and dominate. Now, Candace Parker, she was one in a million. Okay, Candace Parker came in and she dominated as a rookie. Breanna Stewart came in and she dominated as a rookie. Sabrina Ionescu came in and she didn't dominate, but she played really well as a rookie. And even Caitlin Clark, she's not dominating, but the skills are showing, right? She's doing the thing that she does. And by the way, the thing she's doing now is not similar from what she did in college. She pulls up from deep and she can still hit that shot. She gets into the lane. She has great passing vision. And a lot of times when she goes in the lane for layups, that's where she makes her turnovers. So she's doing a lot of what she did in college. And here's the great thing. It doesn't look bad. It looks like she's playing on a team that's not great, and she's playing in a league that is phenomenal. The collection of players in the WNBA is the best you're going to find anywhere in the world in terms of women's basketball. And it's not easy. As a matter of fact, ask Angel Reese. Okay, Angel Reese got into it. Woo! She found herself in the mud. Facing the Connecticut Sun earlier this week. Alyssa Thomas put Angel Reese in what I can only describe to my wrestling fans as a rock bottom. Oh! Yes, Angel's going up for the rebound, and somehow, some way, magically, she found her neck entangled in Alyssa Thomas's arm, and Angel went down hard. Woo, she went down hard, and she stayed down, and AT got thrown out the game. But again, this is something that these rookies are learning. They got to get bigger. They got to get stronger. They got to learn how to box out effectively, and they got to learn how to play with these seasoned players who know what they're doing. They know how to, get up under you when you're going up for a rebound. Like, there's so many tricks that just come with longevity in the game, and they're getting to see all of that right now. But here's the thing, the question that I wanted to throw out to everybody, okay? If you're listening to this and you are a fan of the W, or if you've just been watching this season, here's the question, the thing that I want to pose. Is it possible that Caitlin Clark could have the best stats as far as leading all rookies in scoring and not win Rookie of the Year? Is that possible? Now you might say, TW, how? How, TW? How could Caitlin Clark, the superstar, bringing all this attention to the league, how could she possibly lead the league in scoring and, lead all rookies in scoring and not win Rookie of the Year? Well, I'll tell you, I've been watching the games, and what I see when I watch the games, Angel Reese, she is not leading the Sky in scoring, but she is leading the Sky, and she is affecting winning. She's affecting winning. She's getting out there. She's playing defense. She's getting down, getting the hustle points. You know what I mean? Making steals, diving on the floor for rebounds and loose balls and all that other stuff. Like, she's getting into it with vets, MVP candidates. She's down there doing the dirty work and really, supporting her team in tough spots. To me, I think, and I'm not trying to knock anybody's work here, but if you can affect the game down low, getting those rebounds, getting second chance points, like, I just think that is so valuable to your team. So if Angel Reese is averaging, I want to say 12 points a game, Caitlin Clark is averaging 17 points a game, but if Angel Reese's 12 points a game get her team to the playoffs, and Caitlin Clark's 17 points a game get her team the first pick in the draft, who should win Rookie of the Year? Questions we gotta ask. We got to ask. Cameron Brink, I don't want to leave her out of the conversation. She was the number 2 pick in the draft, and she's playing well. She's having some ups and downs. I think she's averaging 9 points a game. She's doing well. She's a defensive presence. She definitely belongs. Rakia Jackson, can't forget about her. She's getting buckets. She's averaging 10 points a game. And that duo of Brink and Jackson is going to grow together out in LA. And I think it's going to be, they're going to be a really great duo going forward. But you got to ask again, how much does winning matter, right? How much does winning matter in who becomes the Rookie of the Year? Is it just a stats competition? Because if you're out there getting a bunch of points, but your team's not winning, I don't know. It's not unimpressive, right? Like, getting the points is impressive. You got to get buckets. But if you're getting all the buckets, but your team's not winning, and you're getting a bunch of turnovers, which hurts winning, right? Like, is it fair to take a look at someone who's contributing to winning and considering if they might be a better candidate for Rookie of the Year? I think that's a fair thing to ask, and I think that'll be that'll be a good thing to see. So I want to hear what you guys think. Drop your comments down below. Let me know if you think it's possible that Caitlin Clark could lead all rookies in scoring and still not win Rookie of the Year. I think it's going to be a great thing to watch as the season goes on. But more importantly, I hope we're all enjoying the basketball, because I'm enjoying the basketball. The Hoopers are hooping, and that's not funny. They are hooping. The Hoopers are hooping. and yeah, man, like, this is fun to see. You know what? I've been doing these WNBA centric pods for a few weeks now, and I have not even gotten to the aces. Isn't that crazy? I haven't even gotten to the aces, and my favorite player, Asia Wilson, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, Asia, we love you. We love you. We love you. We were so excited about the announcement of the A1. Yes, she has her own shoe, damn it. And I, for one, can't wait until it drops. I hope they got a whole line of stuff, because I'm going to have my baby girl decked out in all her A1 gear. And I'm looking forward to it. The Aces are killing it, by the way. Okay, they're out there cooking with gas. They are destroying teams in their way. But if we are talking about teams that are cooking, then, ladies and gentlemen, you got to talk about the Connecticut Sun. Hello. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. AT, DeWanna Bonner, and Dejanay Carrington breaking into the starting lineup this year, 3rd year in the league, and she is a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. Okay, the Connecticut Sun, as of today, are the only undefeated team in the WNBA, and again, they've seen all the hot rookies. They've seen them, and they've stopped them, and they've stomped them. Now, I don't think they've played the Aces just yet. That game is coming up. But as far as the usual suspects, right? The Aces, the Liberty, and the Sun, it looks like they are still positioning themselves to be at the top. But thanks to the influx of these rookies and the development of some of these other teams that were right there on the cusp, the Dallas Wings, and the Lynx, a lot of these other teams that are on the come up, like, man, listen, if you get a chance to catch a WNBA game, even if America's sweetheart Caitlin Clark is not going to be playing, sit down and check it out, because this league is cooking right now. These players are great, and I, for one, am enjoying it. I think I just watched the greatest episode of NXT of all time. Ladies and gentlemen, this was quite possibly the greatest NXT episode of all time. And that is saying something. That is saying something, because, again, thinking back to the black and gold and, and all the eras of NXT. The episode I watched last night, daggone it, that might have been my favorite NXT episode of all time. Oh my God. It was so much fun. It was so much fun. They started off with Sexyy Red came out, bow, bow, bow. She was doing her Sexyy Red thing, and I'm watching it the whole time, and I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, okay, Sexyy, don't go too far, okay, all right. And look, I enjoy Sexyy Red, okay? Like, I have an 8-year-old, and I don't want her behaving like Sexyy Red, but Sexyy Red is a more mature person's level of entertainment, okay? Like, you gotta, you should be a little older to enjoy Sexyy Red's brand of entertainment. But she looks like she's so much fun. I would love to have a party and be in the party with Sexyy Red, because I guarantee she's gonna turn up, and she turned up on NXT, and it was fun, man, because she came out there and she clearly looked like she belonged, right? She looked like she belonged. And you see so many celebrities that come into the world of WWE or pro wrestling on, any platform, and they feel awkward. They don't quite get the concept of interacting with the wrestlers. They don't know how to still be themselves or whatever their public persona is and have it mesh perfectly into the show we're watching. But damn it, Sexyy Red nailed it. She nailed it. She came out there, she was Sexyy Red, and she unveiled the NXT North American Women's Championship. That was big. Ava introduced her. She came out, she was popping it, twerking on the way down to the ring, and I was like, woo! I was like, look, man, I know in the truck, I know they got their finger just hovering over that dump button. They're like, dog, please, sexy. They're like, sexy. I know. This is probably one of those moments where Shawn Michaels was, sitting there doing his thing, but he was probably sweating. He was like, okay, look, I'm trying to make this show real black, and I just need y'all to not mess this up. and damn it, Shawn, I applaud you, sir. I applaud you. I'm sitting there watching this show last night, and I keep thinking of just the words of the homie Sloan. He said, earmuffs, kids, the hood fuck with pro wrestling. And that is all I could think about as I was watching the show, okay? The hood fuck with pro wrestling, and pro wrestling fucks with the hood, okay? Apparently, and I give such credit to Shawn Michaels because he has found this balance. And you know what? Maybe it's not him. Maybe he's just listening to the black people around him, but he has found a balance of a way to present these characters, right? And present these situations in a way that doesn't feel pandering. It feels natural, right? Like for such a long time in wrestling, black characters could only be a couple of things, right? You had to be like, you had to either be like a buffoon, right? Like a straight comedy character, or you had to be like, your dancing, sexy guy, or like your, dancing entertainer or whatever, something like that. Or you had to be, let's not forget, you could always be a street guy. You could be some sort of gangster or thug or something like that. But NXT has found a way to cast black characters in roles that just feel like natural people. And it's working. It's working. Trick Williams, right? Former athlete, clearly a cool ass dude, right? Like it oozes through the screen that Trick Williams is just a cool ass dude, and they're just letting him be that, right? They're just letting him be that. They're not asking him to go over the top and be, you from South Carolina, right? Be a pimp. Be a pimp from South Carolina. You know what I mean? Like, they're not asking him to, do anything that is a caricature of a black person. He's just being himself, and it is working, baby. It is working. It's working. The metaphor, right? The metaphor, all completely different types of characters, but they got their own flavors, their own swag, and you can't label it specifically to say the metaphor is this, but they're all fun. Their personalities play off of each other, and they work so well, right? Lash Legend, Jakar Jackson, right? Like, again, they're not stereotypes of any sort of mold, but they're just them. And, you know, they're athletes and they're beautiful and they got sass and personality and all the things that jump off the screen. And I just got to give so much credit to Shawn Michaels because he's not trying to force them into an easily definable, easily consumable box, right? That, let's just say, a larger audience will recognize. And it's working. It is working. Last night, when we saw Trick Williams and the homie Javon and Sexyy Red together, I was like, dog, this works. Like, this looks like they should be a team. I was like, man, Trick Williams, you better not do too well with this tag team wrestling because they gonna call you and Javon up as a tag team because that just looked like that worked too well. And then speaking of the other things that happened on that show, okay, we had Roxanne Perez come out and Ava said she was going to show Roxanne her challenger for the next big NXT show, and lo and behold, it was Jordynne Grace. Oh my goodness, that was a moment. That was a huge moment. And by the way, when Jordynne Grace came out, the NXT arena shook with the applause. The NXT arena popped crazy for Jordynne Grace, and they were chanting Jordynne Grace. And you know what else they were chanting? They were chanting TNA, TNA, TNA. So listen, we are past the nobody watches TNA days, okay? Now the problem is the TNA built up a very good buzz and they fumbled it like crazy. As of January, TNA had a very good buzz. Here we are in May, almost June, and they have completely fumbled that buzz. But Jordynne Grace showed up in the Royal Rumble and she looked and felt like a star. She didn't seem like the moment or the scene was too big for her. And then again, we saw her on NXT standing across from Roxanne Perez, and she did not look or seem like the moment or the arena was too big for her. Give it up for Jordynne Grace. I'm excited for you. Bigger and better things are on the way. And listen, if you're TNA, I said this back in January, if you are TNA, use Jordynne Grace while you have her, baby. Use her while you have her, because once that contract is up, she is gone. Gone. Another thing that I just been noticing about NXT that I love so much. I mentioned that Sexyy Red revealed the NXT Women's North American Championship, and we got more qualifying matches for the multi-woman match at the next big NXT event for that championship to crown the first ever NXT Women's North American Champion. And the people I think that I saw tonight was it was Kalani Jordan and Ren Sinclair, and then there was another match, but Jada Parker. Oh, it was Mia Yim and someone who I can't remember right now. But then Jada Parker came out to do commentary during the Mia Yim match, and I was like, man, the thing that I love so much and the thing that I appreciate so much about NXT is they are creating female characters and they're just wrestling characters. I love that. There's no hot girl. There's no Mandy Rose, okay? I don't say that really to diss Mandy Rose, but just the simple fact is that these women are being asked to be wrestlers. I love it, and it's my absolute favorite thing about it. So NXT is cooking right now. This week, NXT is probably the best show that WWE is doing. I love it. I'm a big fan of it. What did you guys think of NXT this week? Let me know. Drop it down in the comments. So the biggest piece of news coming out of NXT, that great episode of NXT, is the rumored working partnership between WWE and TNA and all the possibilities of what this could possibly mean. Now, we saw Jordynne Grace appear at the Royal Rumble earlier this year. She had a great showing. We saw Jordynne Grace appear on NXT, had a great showing, and everybody is to wonder what's to come. So again, whenever it comes to wrestling news or inside information, if it involves TNA/Impact Wrestling, the number one source I trust is Mike Johnson. And Mike Johnson posted this in regard to a potential working relationship between NXT and TNA. He said the word backstage at tonight's NXT taping was that Jordynne Grace appearing on WWE NXT Battleground was not the only WWE TNA collaboration in the days ahead. The belief among those we've spoken with is that there will be some sort of NXT representation on future TNA events and programming as well, although we haven't heard how much that could be, whether it could be around anyone beyond Roxanne Perez. He says, my guess is we'll see something at the TNA events in Chicago at either the Against All Odds pay-per-view on June 14th or the subsequent TV tapings on June 15th at Cicero Stadium, but obviously that's not confirmed. Since there's no other TNA events before that, it's a pretty easy line to draw, however. TNA champion Jordynne Grace will face NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez at the June 9th WWE NXT Battleground pay-per-view in Las Vegas. Give it up for Mike Johnson. Love Mike Johnson. Please check out his content. Please subscribe to it. I'm a big fan of his work. He does excellent work, and his reporting, I would say, is very trustworthy. So my thoughts on this. Listen, I'm excited. WWE does a great job with, if they're going to invest in you, if they're going to have you on their TV, they want it to feel like a big deal. Do I expect Jordynne Grace to come in and beat Roxanne Perez? No, I don't. But Jordynne Grace looked strong in the Royal Rumble. She didn't come in there and get smacked around and tossed out, just like Mickie James when she was in the Royal Rumble a couple years ago. So I expect Jordynne Grace to have a strong showing against Roxanne Perez. Not only that, Jordynne Grace is also going to have a match on NXT next week against another character who's not on TV as much. They did a segment where they were backstage, and this young lady's in Ava's office, and she's just saying, what did Jordynne Grace do to earn a championship? And then Jordynne Grace walks in and is like, yo, I heard you say my name, so what's up? And so now they're going to have a match next week on NXT. So Jordynne Grace is getting multiple chances to get exposure on WWE shows, and that is a huge thing. Now, as far as who they can, what they can do as far as a crossover, well, here's the thing. If they decide to let Jordynne Grace get the win over Roxanne Perez, she'll have Roxanne's NXT Women's Championship, and she would take that back, and then I guess she would lose that back to Roxanne Perez, potentially at Slammiversary or something like that, which could be a really fun bit of storytelling, and it highlights and underscores something. Thinking back to the working relationship between Impact Wrestling and AEW, that was not fun. There was, it was great for Kenny Omega, right? Kenny Omega was doing his belt collector gimmick. WWE creative was not especially strong at the time, and AEW felt very new. So at the time, this idea that AEW and Impact were linking up, it really kind of set this idea up that WWE wants to be isolationist, as in we exist apart from everybody else, and everybody else is going to come together and say, you know what? We're working together. We're here for all the wrestling fans. Let's do our thing. And that would have worked so much better if creatively AEW put some sort of stock and equity into the TNA talent they were working with. Instead, AEW treated TNA like you know what AEW treated TNA like a kid at the lunch table, the one who gets picked on, right? And most of the kids picking on the kid at the lunch table aren't the really secure, popular kids. It's really the kids who are right there in that middle tier, and they want to separate themselves from the really unpopular kids, so they pile on the unpopular kid and pick on them. That's what AEW was, right? AEW wanted to draw a clear line that we're much better than Impact Wrestling, so they did their little vignettes where they would make fun of Impact Wrestling on Impact Wrestling show. They had Kenny Omega take that title, refused to drop it to anybody, should have dropped it to Josh Alexander, no matter what you say. And there even was a story about Sammy Guevara supposed to go to Impact Wrestling, but he went there and he pitched an idea where he would win the X Division title, go undefeated, and nobody would ever beat him. He would never lose it, and he would just like go away. And I'm like, dog, like this is so stupid. So like clearly, right, the AEW had this complex about we have to appear superior to Impact Wrestling, and it came through in every single bit of the creative, and it was stupid. It was stupid. Even when Deonna Purrazzo had the ROH title and they brought her on to Dynamite to have like a quick match with Mercedes Martinez so she could drop that title to her. They never did anything with Mercedes Martinez. And meanwhile, Deonna Purrazzo was on this great run of carrying multiple titles. So AEW just fumbled that situation so badly, which was really stupid because you had this attraction from another promotion, right? Which would make people watching your show more curious about these other people. And instead of making them appear strong, you just wanted to make your guys appear so much stronger. And it was stupid. Like there's logic in wrestling that says, you build up your opponent before you beat them. Because if you say you're terrible, you're no good, and then you beat your opponent, well, you just beat nobody, right? But if you build up your opponent, then you overcame a great challenge, right? But apparently, Tony Khan never applied this theory to their working relationship with Impact Wrestling. And apparently, Scott D'Amore was just so desperate to be seen in the same light as AEW that he was willing to take any creative that AEW would offer, and it didn't look well from a creative standpoint for Impact Wrestling. But in this case, you see Jordynne Grace, and she's being presented as strong, and I'm looking forward to what's going to happen between Jordynne Grace and Roxanne Perez. I don't expect Jordynne Grace to win, but it's not entirely out of the realm of possibility. Because again, if Jordynne Grace beats Roxanne Perez, then you got a great opening for Roxanne Perez to go back and challenge Jordynne Grace back for the title. And it gives Roxanne Perez something interesting to do. This is kind of, a dead period, right? Between the two of them. And you know what they could do? Actually, they could go 1-1, and they could have the blow-off match at SummerSlam. Oh, man. Whoa. I just thought of that right now. But so listen, there's plenty of opportunities and possibilities here. Also, again, you got guys on NXT who could go work in TNA. And again, because NXT is all about building up guys and getting more reps and preparing to work in front of different crowds, work in different situations to prepare yourself for ultimately a run on the WWE main roster, then that would only be good for them, right? That would only be good for them. So I'd love to see some of the NXT guys have a run in TNA, work a few matches with some of the some of the better TNA guys. And I gotta tell you, I would love to see them put somebody against Josh Alexander because, baby, woo, that man can go. I don't think you should go champion versus champion, though. I don't want to see Josh Alexander versus Trick Williams because that wouldn't make my boy Trick look too good. But definitely, look, man, Put Josh Alexander against it could be anybody. It could be like a Obafemi, who's a big deal, but not like your top guy. It could be like a Tony D'Angelo, who's like a top, somebody who they clearly have hold in very high regard. Like, there's a lot of guys they could do. I would love to see them do something where they put Wentz and Miguel back together with Wes Lee for the Rascals. Yes. Oh my God. A Rascals reunion? Yo, that'd be ridiculous. But yes, there's so many possibilities to be had, and I'm excited, man. I'm excited about where this can go because unlike AEW, I actually trust the creative direction and vision that NXT applies to stuff. And I don't think they're going to just give us matches, right? Like, I don't think they're going to just give us matches. I think they're going to give us something that we actually want to see. But what are you guys looking forward to when it comes to the possibilities between TNA and NXT working together? Drop them down in the comments and let me know. All right. That's all we got for today. Listen, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes of your day here with me. If you like the show, if you want to help out the show, please consider subscribing to the YouTube channel, hitting the like button on this video, and hitting the notification bell so you get notified each and every time we drop some brand new fire content on this page. You can tweet me at Talkin Bout Pod. You can tweet me, I tweet back. If you got questions, you can email the show, talkinboutpod@gmail.com. If you look in the comments below all the videos, you see that I do respond. I get into it with you guys with all the comments. I definitely want to hear everything you got to say. So thank you guys for all your support. If you really want to help out the show, the best thing you can do is tell a friend to tell a friend, share the content. Let's bring more people into the conversation. Until next time, I'm TW. Peace.